Andrew, thank you for that. Well, we're now joined by the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, Chrystia Freeland. Ms. Freeland, thank you for being with us.
Great to be with you, Michael.
Now, you've not set out a plan here to balance Canada's budget. Instead, you're tying this country's financial health to this debt to GDP ratio. Is that responsible enough, given that you yourself point to slowing growth and annual deficits for the foreseeable future?
Yes, Michael, it absolutely is a fiscally responsible economic plan. And, I'd like to start with what is the purpose of being fiscally responsible? And the purpose is so that we can invest in Canada and Canadians. And that's what we are doing in this fall economic statement. We're investing in housing. I think everyone across the country agrees that is absolutely essential. We're investing in the economy. This is a statement that carries through on our promise to invest in the industrial transition, which is absolutely essential for the jobs of today and the jobs of tomorrow. But I agree with the premise of your question. We can only afford to continue doing that, to do it year after year after year, as we need to do, if we do it in a fiscally responsible way. That's what we're doing. I'm going to give you two quick proof points. The first is we have the lowest debt and the lowest deficit in the G7. And the second is the ratings agencies, whose job really is to look at countries and say, is your fiscal plan responsible and sustainable, have granted Canada and continue to grant us a AAA rating.
Okay. Well, you mentioned home building there. Let's talk a bit about that, because obviously you have a number of measures in today's economic statement that references that. You say that these measures will create housing faster, but this $15 billion loan guarantee that was leaked earlier, that actually won't kick in until fiscal 25-26. How is that building homes quicker?
Well, that is a top-up to a program that exists, that is working, that is delivering, but where the money is running out. And I'll tell you why I know that, because just last week, I was a couple of kilometers north of my own riding in Toronto. I went to a great announcement of 2,600 new rental units being built in Toronto. I could see them being built behind me. And those units were being financed by this rental construction financing initiative. It was very exciting for me. But when I talked to the builders who were delivering these homes, who were getting the job done, they said to me, this is a great program. They said, because this program exists, we are choosing to build rental units rather than condos, which I think everyone in Toronto would agree is what we need more of. But they said to me, we're worried because the program is running out of money. And with this fall economic, I couldn't tell them at the time, obviously, but as they were saying this to me, I was glad to know in my heart, guess what? There's $15 billion coming to top up this program. So a program that works doesn't run out of money. I think that makes sense.
Okay. I also want to ask you about your newly announced Canadian Mortgage Charter, something very new. But, when you look at it, there doesn't seem to be any enforcement mechanism. How does that help anyone without it?
Well, thank you very much for the question, because I am sure that you, just like me, hear from a lot of Canadians who are concerned about their mortgages and are concerned about being able to afford their mortgages when they come up for renewal. And I really appreciate and understand that concern that Canadians have. That's why for the first time in Canadian history, we have published in one of the two most serious financial documents that the Government of Canada publishes, the Canadian Mortgage Charter. And it lays out what Canadians can expect from their banks. What the government is saying to Canadians and to their financial institutions, you have the right to expect these things. And this is tailored treatment that I think is going to provide Canadians with real relief. It is things like you have the right to seek an extension and amortization of your mortgage. That can help you make your payment every month. It says that if you have an insured mortgage, you can go to a different financial institution without requalifying. Again, that kind of competition gives people some real leverage. And so, thank you for the question. And what I would say is to Canadians who are concerned, please, I'm not expecting everyone in the country to read the fall economic statement, but I would say, Google the Canadian Mortgage Charter, and you will find what are the specific things you can expect from your bank when you need to renew your mortgage. And you can say, the finance minister said, because I'm saying it right now, you have the right to expect it.
Okay, quickly running out of time, but I do have to ask because there is no reference to pharmacare in your statement today. But by the terms of your supply and confidence agreement with the NDP, something has to happen by the end of this year. How accurate are these projections without including pharmacare?
So, again, thank you for the question. We, as you know, because you said it, Michael, we have a written agreement, supply and confidence agreement. And we are very carefully, very thoughtfully keeping our side of the bargain. One of the things that is in here, and which is expensive, but is delivering real transformation for many, many Canadians, is dental care. That costs a lot of money. But I personally am so glad that we're doing it. I travel around Canada now, and so many people have come up to me, often an older person who might not show their teeth when they're talking or put their hand in front of their mouth. And they'll say, gee, I wish this had been around when I was a kid. Or I'm glad that kids today have this. That is something that we are doing, that is in the fiscal framework that is published here. When it comes to other elements, my colleague, Mark Holland, is having thoughtful, careful, I would say productive conversations on other elements.
Okay. Well, we look forward to details. Minister Freeland, really appreciate the time tonight. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Michael. Have a great night.
You too.